Good evening. Mark was about to say something derogatory about us.
No, Mark was going to say we look like we're in the Arctic. We're wrapped up that much.
Yeah, we're in Johannesburg, South Africa, and tonight it's a bit like not Africa, but Canada this time of year, England this time of year.
Wet and miserable.
Ireland would be a good place because it always rains in Ireland, in my experience. Sorry if you're in Ireland, but the only problem here we don't have decent Guinness.
No.
So, hey, welcome to Tetrakey TV, and tonight is episode number 36 of 260 we're bringing to you in 2017. My name's Rob Yates, this is
Mark Hopkins.
Excellent, and for our sins, a couple of years ago we became founders of this wonderful business and have committed this year to the thought process of reciprocity. Basically means we're going to give as much as humanly possible to you so that your year can be amazingly successful. A few things to mention as people come online this evening. If you haven't downloaded the book, you're probably fed up of hearing about it by now, but share it. We're going to keep talking about it. Send it to your friends. The link is in the text for this video. The Selling Success program is in the top of the Tetrakey newsfeed. You can go and take part in that. 2.5, 3 hours of free content. And the Get Coached Fly on the Wall documentary is growing at a rapid pace at this point in time. So if you want the opportunity to get 3 months of free coaching, and not coaching like this, what we're talking about is face-to-face, one-to-one, maybe by Skype, maybe in the same room, no matter where you are in the world, with Mark, myself, a combination of both of us, majority one of us, whatever it might be. We're going to offer you that for free, and you will get to profile yourself and your business as part of our YouTube Fly on the Wall online documentary. So that's free marketing, free coaching, free everything, really.
You better hurry up because we've already had some really good responses and some really strong candidates who've already put their hands up saying, please, pick me.
So if you want to do that, the way to do it is go to tetrakey.com/getcoached. Fill in the form, send it to us. We'll send you some more information about the process, how we're going to be selecting people, so on and so forth. So that's there for you. And the closing date for that is going to be the 10th of March. It's going to be the closing date for that, 10th of March.
Live TV.
Live TV. I'm actually just looking down at my big wall calendar that's just down here somewhere to go and see what our diaries look like. So if you don't apply by the 10th of March, you won't get to join the process, and you won't get the free coaching. So fill in the form. What are we talking about tonight?
What is your role?
Jeepers. I mean, what is your role?
To make you look good.
Excellent. That's good. One of us has to be the good-looking one. The one without, he's got the hair, I've got the brains. I mean, something like that. That's what it comes down to. So, what is your role? And it's interesting. Whenever we meet business owners, we go, "So, what do you do?" And they go, and they seem to stop. And if you don't know what your role is, then it's really hard to fulfill your role accurately. Know whether you're focusing on the right things or whether you're being distracted or so on and so forth.
Yeah, I always find it really interesting, and I come up with obscure answers as much as I can, because in today's society, I feel that we are judged primarily by what we do, not by who we are. So we've all been in those situations where you meet people and the conversation starts a little bit, and guess what? The first question they ask you, what do you do?
I've retired.
There we go. So I say I climb mountains, I read books, and they sort of look at you going, no, you're stupid. You're really stupid. I didn't ask you that question. Well, I might be stupid, but are you going to jump?
Never know. But what is your role?
But it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because what we define by, yes, we may spend the majority of our life asleep and in a form of work, but what does that work actually say about us? So there was two parts to this question when Rob and I discussed it earlier. The first question was, what does it say about you, and what do you want the answer to that question to say about you? And the second part of that question, and maybe we'll cover one part of the question tonight and one part tomorrow night, And the second part of the question is, it was driven by a conversation I had with a leader today, very, very experienced gentleman, been in this industry for 20, 25 years, worked his way up from the ground floor, from the face-to-face, right up to now running a significant channel with about 3,000 people in it. And he asked to chat to me about what his world's going to look like. And what do most leaders talk to you about? They talk about their structure.
And their strategy.
Their strategy. And I asked him the question, actually, what is your role? I'll share a little bit more later on in terms of the conversation. But I'd like to just pause now and think about the two questions I've posed you tonight. Think about when someone asks you that question when they first meet you, what do you do? How do you want that answer to be? Maybe it's a good exercise, because again, Tetrakey is not just about the why, the what, but we are passionate about the how. Why not spend 10 minutes after this Facebook Live session and just scribble some notes in terms of some key things that you would like that person to walk away with as you answer that question.
And it's key in terms of who you are and your congruence, the feel that you give to somebody else. It's very tempting to say I'm the managing director of, or whatever else. But if you're anybody can be a managing director of a one-man plumbing business. So what is it that you do that's congruent with what you do, that's closely aligned to it, so that you don't get some awkward questions asked of you? So this is really important for you in terms of maybe going networking, but also so you can communicate with your workforce what it is that you actually do. Most workforces, if you ask a workforce, what does your boss do? They they just, that's it. They mumble.
Yeah, and that was really interesting, that the conversation I had today. So I challenged this leader when I asked the question, what is your role? What is it that you do? And he came up with some answers that made sense to him. And I asked him the question back. I said, what about thinking about this answer? When someone goes, what do? You respond with, I don't look at my phone for the first half an hour when I get to the office.
You mentioned about that last night.
And he looked at me today and he was like, he thought I was mad. But again, as we delved a little bit deeper, we transferred, it was quite complicated. So he was looking at structure, he was looking at people, he was looking at the whole shebang of the strategies of growing this 3,500 workforce. But actually, when you break it down, your role is really simple. Your role is to be the best version of yourself. Your role is to be there when people need you to be there. Your role is to demonstrate and live and be congruent with the behaviours that you're passionate about, that's going to have an immediate impact on your business.
And that role, a lot of corporations and businesses have their high-level value proposition, those wonderful words that they list on the wall in the business, like value or integrity or waffle, loyalty, respect, so on and so forth. And frankly, they're just words on the wall unless you in your role are actually seen to be demonstrating them visibly to the workforce in your everyday life. And also demonstrated, I always believe, to the lowest common denominator in the workforce as well, who's not going to pick up on minutiae or subtlety. And so what is your role? Is your role to be a walking, talking, obvious version of the values of the business?
Yeah, and again, we're not. This message isn't just solely for execs or people running big businesses. This is for small businesses where the business owner has to fulfill maybe 1, 2, 3 roles in the business. Their role is still critical, and the question you have to be asking yourself is, am I the same person doing a different role? And again, you've got to be conscious about that. Maybe if you have to do some of the finance work, you have to have a slightly different way that you're going to look at the world than if you're going to do the operations side, for example, or the sales side. But underpinning that, there's got to be behaviours that are similar across there. There's got to be the way that you treat people that's got to be similar around there, because that's you. That's when you go and answer the question, what is it that you do? Treat people with respect. It doesn't make a difference what role I play within the business, that's what I do.
I always think somebody who manages or leads other people, be that a small business owner or an executive, doesn't really matter where you are, that it's you set the pace and the vibe of the business. So if you're tired and low energy and slow in the way you go about taking things forwards, the rest of your business just takes on that level of energy and vibe, and that's how the rest of the business is. If you're continually, like we were talking about macro and micro yesterday, in strategy mode, well, the business will be slow to execute. And so for me, the role of a business owner, an executive, a leader is all about pace and vibe. What pace do you want the business to operate at? And that's often dictated about what pace does it need to operate at, quite often faster than its competition. And what's the vibe you want? And if you're not giving that pace and that vibe, that feel for the employees, and it's not obvious to them, well, they're not likely to do it for you.
And let's think, because what scared this exec a little bit today was how complicated he was trying to make it in his head. And what Rob's just articulated there, pace and vibe and feel, just think of one thing that you can do tomorrow that does that. It's not one thing that we passionately believe in is simplicity. And we live and breathe simplicity, and we get surrounded in this day and age where there's this link between ego, intellect, and complexity. And let's think about what we want and what we believe. We still want to read those Mr. Men books that are simple because we get it, we understand it, and we can then tell the story to someone else. So as you listen to what we're saying, don't overcomplicate something like this. Look at it and go, what is the one thing that I can introduce tomorrow into myself, not introduce into the business or introduce into your team. What's the one thing I'm going to introduce into me tomorrow that's going to bring that vibe, that feeling, that speed that you want, that's critical for your business? And it could be not picking your phone up for the first half an hour. It could be
greeting everybody.
Yeah, walking around to every single person's desk. That's a simple thing. But the impact, do not underestimate the impact that would have on the people around you. Just by walking around and greeting them, looking them in the eye and saying good morning, it will have a massive impact on your business.
So as you all know, we're in the process of being avid writers. We produce 2 blogs a week minimum. We've produced a book this year. We're going to have another book coming out in a bit too close a time for our diaries.
We've got the title today.
We've got the title today and we're on it. So we've got to write the introduction and the conclusion, and the chapters in the middle are done. So we should be all good to go for the 1st of March. And we've got 2 other books we're working on. And one of the other books, the title is called Controlling Your Mirror. And what does that really mean? Well, have you ever noticed how if you go to somewhere thinking it's going to be the world's worst experience, 9 times out of 10 it is the world's worst experience? Whereas if you go somewhere bouncing, positive, energetic, it can still be horrible and miserable, but you can have a great time from that. And that's what leadership is. You know, the people who work for you are a reflection of you. That's what our job role is. Doesn't matter whether you've got one person working for you or 3,500 people working for you. The people beneath you are the reflection of you. So if you're quick to execute, they will be quick to execute. If you're clear, crisp and motivated with your communication, they will take on the same behaviours as well. But they'll also take on the inverse of that. And the only way to control your world and get what you want out from the people beneath you is to ignore what's above you and do the right thing in you. You may not be led and have the boss that you want in the way that you want. The marketplace, if you're a small business owner, may not be giving you the opportunities that you want here and now. And yet if you take those to heart and follow those, what's going to happen? You're just going to lead your workforce in an ever-decreasing circle. I think you should say hi to Gareth.
Oh, hello, Bushy. Just got a guy I used to coach hockey with who's just joined us from, I think he's in Germany. He's having a blinding hockey season in Germany. But one thing that's interesting about what Rob was saying there is you may believe that you can fake it. And maybe you can for a very, very short space of time. And maybe you believe that no one else notices. But I guarantee you that there is somebody out there who will see and know that you're faking it. I'm reading an interesting book. It's called Jolt at the moment. And it's by a guy who was a singer in, I think it was Phantom. And he was a part of the book I'm at the moment where he was tired. They did 8 shows a week in front of 3,000 people. And he was tired. And all he wanted was to go to the pub, have a steak and a red wine. So he went on stage and he performed, but he his heart and soul wasn't into it, but he thought he was doing a good enough job. Halfway through the show, at the interval, we got a knock from what they called a co-singer. Knock on the door, said, "Can I speak to you for 2 seconds?" And this guy said, yeah, cool. He came in expecting a different conversation. This guy said, "Look," his name's Richard. "Richard, when you're good, you are really good. But when you're bad, you are really bad." And he thought no one would notice. People notice, ladies and gents, so be consistent with what you're doing, be congruent. Don't fake it. Fake it, you'll just lose all your reputation. You'll lose people's respect very, very quickly.
It's not just that, though, that within yourself, if you try and fake it. I mean, I think I had my laptop open at 6 o'clock this morning. It's now 9 o'clock at night, just gone 9 o'clock at night. I don't feel tired, and I've worked all the way throughout the day, with the exception of maybe an hour or so eating supper and cooking some food. And I don't feel tired. I do remember a time in my career where I was trying to fake it, and it was amazingly hard. It felt like the whole world was against you. It felt like it was uphill. It felt tiring. And just by refusing to go and fake it and just being me the entire time, I always have energy. I can always concentrate, and I can always get the shit done that I need to get done. And so that comes back down to that word of congruence again, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think what you've just articulated there is, if I asked you the question, what do you do, what is your role, what you've just articulated is, my role is to be the best version of myself.
Exactly.
So I think on that bombshell,
be the very best version of you. We haven't asked you tonight to click share or like, but I'd like to say hi to Mr. Rossiter, Mr. Hoare and Mr. West, who've just joined us. So please do click like, please do click share. We're here 5 nights a week sharing this information for you. There is the Get Coach program. If you want 3 months of free business or performance coaching for yourself or for your business, coming up, go and apply for the program. www.tetrakey.com/get-coached. Applications close on the 10th of March. There will be a second stage, because we've only got space for 3 people for this first round, and you will get to profile your business globally on YouTube, because this will be documented in a fly on the wall documentary out on YouTube, where not only do you get to get coached with us, you get to profile your business globally. And as you'll see on our Facebook feed, we've got almost 5,500 Facebook followers who we're engaging with, and we've got a reach of well over 25,000 people weekly for your business. So yeah, check it out, get involved. What's your role? Possibly your role is to take action in determining how successful your future can be.
That's definitely a bombshell to finish off with.
Boom, good night.